Big Boris is in serious trouble. His right eye isn't functioning properly. The keepers are worried because Boris is one of the sanctuary's longest residents and a star attraction.
He's sort of one of the founding owls of the sanctuary, and about 15 years ago he famously had a cataract operation, and it was actually the first ever owl cataract operation carried out in the world. So he's quite a celebrity. He's had lots of attention over the years, and we need to look after him. Yeah, come in.
Thank you. I'm guessing he's called Boris because the species is from Russia.
Absolutely,
is that right?
yeah. And we've got Nadia as well.
Chris needs to get a good look at Boris's right eye.
He's got these little sort of bumps of skin in his eyelid on his right eye, and we believe it might be a sort of scratchy feeling on his eye. It definitely seems to irritate him.
So we're to catch him, don't we, and have a look?
Yeah. Now, do you fancy having a go at that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Catching owls has to be done the right way, not just for their safety, but also your own. I mean, if I don't get those claws in the right way, then they can turn around and grab me, and that's not going to tickle.
But Chris has to win over Nadia before he can capture boyfriend Boris.
He's hiding behind his girlfriend now.
Excuse me, Boris, when you're using Nadia as your enforcer, what is going on? Nadia is a serious-looking woman. If there was ever a Bond villain that was an owl, it'd be Nadia. You're quite intimidating, Nadia. Look at you, all fluffed up.
Perhaps if you step to the left, Nadia might actually come down.
Look about that, huh? Look at that. It's amazing, isn't it? This hand here, yeah?
There we go, that's the way. Now you want to tip him down. That's the backwards, sorry, that's it. So we can get those wings in.
You fell for the old other hand trick, didn't you, Boris?
Yeah,
I thought you were better than that. Looking into Boris's eyes, you can see that he has these growths around his right eye, which are starting to really push across his eyeball. And also, the eye isn't comfortable. He blinks a lot, and he just doesn't look happy with it. Anyone that's ever had dirt or sand or even just an eyelash in their eye can tell you that it's incredibly uncomfortable. For Boris, though, this is a round-the-clock issue. That little bubble you're worried about, that area in the corner of his eye,
Yep.
it doesn't seem to move. It's not like it's free-floating or anything.
No.
I guess I don't want to muck around with this. Eyes are obviously incredibly important for owls, and I think if we can get him into the vet clinic, have a really good look underneath there to see what's actually happening, make sure there's nothing stuck, and then from there work out a plan.
Okay, yeah.
All right, big man, you and me, it's on tomorrow. You okay with that? You look excited. A little wink. I'll take that as a yes.
I think you've bonded now.
Yeah. He just, as long as he doesn't bond with me with those talons.
Yeah.
Hello, Rachel. How are you?
You all right there, Chris?
I'm good. I'm good.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. I'm sure Boris feels exactly the same way.
Yeah.
I think this time apart is probably good for us. The whole idea of getting Boris into the clinic today was to really run some tests and work out exactly what is happening with that eye. We still don't know exactly why those lumps have appeared and why that eye is so sore. Big. That's something. Yep. Hello, oh yes. It's me again.
The hissing that Boris does is bravado, basically. He's, especially when he sees Chris now, he associates him as a vet, I think. The hissing is basically just a warning.
Okay. All right. I think really the plan initially is to try to give that eye a good flush.
Okay.
Make sure that nothing comes out from inside of it.
Yep.
It's starting to lift up those little growths that we can see.
Yeah.
When I lift up his eyelid and flush essentially under the eye with saline, importantly, nothing comes out. So it's unlikely Boris has had anything stuck in that eye. What I want to do now is just check there's no scratches across his eyeball.
Chris is using a special dye that will help highlight any problem areas on Boris's eye.
The blinds have to come down, the lights have to go off, and I have to get a UV light onto that eye. You can see that there's an area that's really absorbed that stain
Yeah,
quite
definitely.
strongly.
Yeah, quite clearly.
He actually has a corneal ulcer.
Right. Which would explain the irritation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're sore. When that happens, it's very sore.
Right.
This is a big, raging, ugly ulcer, and it would hurt. You always really worry with ulcers simply because the lining of the eyeball is quite thin. It's already been eroded, it already has an infection. If it's left untreated, there is a chance that eyeball, it could burst. Got an eye that has an ulcer.
Yep.
It also has some pretty serious inflammation in the actual eyelid itself.
Yep.
There's one thing that really ties both of those together, and that is a conjunctivitis.
Okay.
So a serious eye infection,
Yep.
and a chronic one as well. There's no doubt in my mind we need to hit that today with some pretty strong antibiotics.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident that with the right antibiotic ointment, we can actually fix it.
Brilliant.
My worry is that if I do nothing apart from treat this infection, then Boris is still going to have these lumps on his eyelid and they could still cause some sort of irritation. So they have to go. Now, I don't really want to put a 36-year-old bird under general anaesthetic. But what we can do is put some local anaesthetic into his eye
Okay.
and then burn them off
Right.
with him fully awake.
Okay. Chris is going to be using a highly powered cauterising tool within millimetres of Boris's eye, and obviously we don't want to make that ulcer any worse or cause any more damage. So yeah, I am a little bit nervous.
First, the anaesthetic drops have to go in. Then Boris has to be securely wrapped. Chris is using a cauteriser to burn off the excess skin.
I'm being incredibly careful to remove the lumps, but at the same time, not damage Boris's eyelid, because that will hurt once the local anaesthetic wears off. This one's a little bit more tricky. There's just one more in the corner here.
Yep. He didn't even flinch either,
No, he
which is
didn't.
brilliant.
Okay, so it's going to feel a little bit gravelly.
Yeah.
You can imagine if you had a little scar on the inside of your eyelid, you'd feel it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's going to be on antibiotic drops.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a bit of a lubricant for that eye as well. It's kind of funny that it's taken an Australian to fix a Russian bird in England. But hopefully, now that he is fixed, his future is going to be a lot less complicated. Not that he's showing his appreciation. You're not thrilled with me, are you? As far as you're concerned, I can go right back to Australia right now.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys loved that video, great. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below. That way. That way.